Welcome to the world's least professional archaeology documentary. We're covering 5 ancient mysteries today. The Shroud of Turin, the stone spheres of Costa Rica, the Bronze Giant Talos, the Baghdad Battery, and the hill figures of England. A burial cloth bearing the mysterious image of a man, or as our artist has rendered it, a napkin with a surprised potato. Hundreds of near-perfect stone spheres, or, in our version, lumpy grey circles that someone gave up on halfway through colouring in. A bronze giant that patrolled the coast of ancient Crete, which we've depicted as a robot that looks like it was drawn during an earthquake. A 2,000-year-old clay jar that might be the world's first electric battery, shown here with lightning bolts going the wrong way because why not? And a 3,000-year-old chalk horse carved into an English hillside, which we've drawn as a white blob that looks confused about its own species. This is going to be the worst drawn educational video you have ever seen, and honestly, we're proud of how bad it is. It's difficult to imagine a more controversial artifact than the Turin Shroud, a 14-foot linen cloth bearing the image of a crucified man. On one side, believers convinced it's the burial cloth of Jesus. On the other, skeptics who say it's a medieval forgery. The debate has raged for centuries. The face on the cloth appears serene and bearded, though our artist has rendered it with what appears to be 7 individual beard pixels. The shroud's history is obscure. First mentioned in the 4th century as the Edessa image, it surfaced in France in 1357 and arrived in Turin in 1578. Legend says King Abgar of Edessa was cured by a cloth bearing Jesus' miraculous image, though the historical evidence for this is, let's say, thin. Many researchers believe the shroud was brought to Europe by crusaders who looted Constantinople in 1204, because apparently they took everything that wasn't nailed down. In 1532, the shroud was damaged in a fire, and nuns later repaired it by sewing patches into the cloth. Those patches would become crucial centuries later. In 1988, 3 independent laboratories radiocarbon dated the shroud. The result? Between 1260 and 1390 AD, the very era it first appeared in history. But chemical testing later found the radiocarbon sample had completely different properties from the rest of the shroud, suggesting it was cut from a repair patch, not the original cloth. A 14th century bishop claimed his predecessor had actually found the artist who painted the shroud, though some question whether the bishop simply wanted the cloth for himself. One theory claims the face on the shroud belongs to Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar, tortured and killed in 1314. Others suggest the shroud is actually a primitive photograph, a self-portrait by Leonardo da Vinci, history's most overachieving Renaissance man. During 2002 restorations, the back of the cloth was photographed for the first time, revealing a second, fainter image that rules out paint and photographic theories alike. Textile experts found the shroud's 3-to-1 herringbone weave matches a cloth from the Jewish fortress of Masada, dating to the 1st century AD. And so the debate rages on. Believers point to the weave and the back image, skeptics point to the carbon dating. The shroud keeps its secrets. Deep in the jungles of Costa Rica, hundreds of mysterious stone spheres were discovered, varying from a few inches to 7 feet in diameter, weighing up to 16 tons. Discovered in the 1930s by United Fruit Company workers clearing jungle, many spheres were blown up with dynamite. Locals believed they contained hidden gold. They did not. Harvard archaeologist Dr. Samuel Lothrop documented 186 spheres in the 1940s, though most had already been moved from their original positions by then. Contrary to popular belief, the spheres are not nearly perfect. Some differ by more than 5 centimeters from a true sphere. They're impressive, but they're not magic. The most plausible method: heat and cool the rock to fracture it, hammer it into shape with stone tools, polish it, then somehow transport it 50 miles. The most creative theory? That the spheres were part of an ancient worldwide power grid. There is no evidence for this at all. Today, the spheres can be found in museums, outside government buildings, and on the lawns of the wealthy, serving perhaps their original purpose as status symbols after all. According to Greek myth, Talos was a giant bronze automaton who patrolled the coast of Crete 3 times daily, throwing boulders at any approaching ships. The myths about Talos' origin are wildly inconsistent. Was he a gift from Zeus, forged by Hephaestus, the last of a bronze race, or actually a bull? Greek mythology refuses to commit. If enemies made it past the boulders, Talos would leap into a fire until he glowed red hot, then embrace them in a burning hug. This is apparently where the expression sardonic laugh originates. Talos had one weakness, a single vein running from his neck to his ankle, sealed with a bronze nail. The entire security of ancient Crete depended on a single nail. When Jason and the Argonauts encountered Talos, the witch Medea used her magic to bewitch the giant, causing him to scrape his ankle on a rock, unleashing a gush of divine ichor. From Talos to Archytas' steam-powered pigeon in 350 BC, to Da Vinci's mechanical knight in 1495, ancient robotics was more advanced than most people realize. Coins depicting Talos from the 4th century BC have been found at Phaistos in Crete, proving the myth was widespread enough to be featured on currency. In 1936, near Baghdad, workers found a small clay jar containing a copper cylinder, an iron rod, and asphalt seals, a device that closely resembles a modern electric battery. German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig realized the jar resembled a galvanic cell, a modern battery. But Volta invented the first confirmed battery in 1800. This predates it by 500 years. Multiple researchers built replicas, filling them with grape juice or vinegar, and every single one netted between 0.8 and 2 volts of electricity. The jar absolutely works as a battery. The most popular theory: these batteries connected in series could electroplate silver onto copper, a technique that may explain silver-plated Sumerian vases dating to 2500 BC. Other theories: medicinal use. Ancient doctors did use electric fish for pain relief or ritual use, where a priest might give worshippers a startling electric shock from a metal idol. Skeptics note there are no Parthian wires, no electroplated artifacts from that period, and no text mentioning electricity. Some suggest the jars simply stored sacred scrolls. Tragically, the Baghdad Battery was looted from the National Museum during the 2003 Iraq War. Its current whereabouts are unknown, a mystery within a mystery. Carved into a chalk hillside in Oxfordshire, the Uffington White Horse is over 3,000 years old, a late Bronze Age geoglyph visible from 18 miles away on a clear day. Hill figures survive only through regular scouring, clearing away grass to re-expose the chalk. If people stop, the figure vanishes. This tradition continued for millennia. Some believe the horse is actually a dragon, slain by St. George on nearby Dragon Hill, where a bare patch of chalk supposedly marks the spot where the dragon's blood spilled. The Cerne Abbas giant is a 180-foot naked figure wielding a club, and featuring extremely prominent anatomy that has embarrassed English villagers for centuries. Theories range from Hercules to a Celtic fertility god to a political caricature of Oliver Cromwell, but recent research suggests it was probably cut in the 1600s as a joke. The Long Man of Wilmington, 226 feet tall, was long thought to be prehistoric. Then dating revealed it was carved around 1545. These figures are full of surprises. So after all this, what have we actually learned from these 5 mysterious artifacts? First, ancient people were clever. Whether it's the craftsmanship of the shroud or the accidental discovery of electricity in a clay jar, they were figuring things out. Second, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. The spheres aren't an ancient power grid, and most hill figures aren't prehistoric, and that's okay. And third, some mysteries are supposed to endure. The dream of Talos lives on in every robot we build, and the shroud's truth may forever exist between faith and science. Thanks for sticking with us through this artistic disaster. Subscribe for more ancient mysteries, which we promise to draw only marginally better next time, and tell us, which of these 5 artifacts fascinates you the most?